Hey Summoners, Chakras or Kalebot here, and welcome to the 4th installment of the Analysis Corner. Today I wanted to do another shorter episode on something that immediately caught my attention. Overpow building a Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, which is a jungle item, on a mid laner. Now, a few interesting stats to start this off. Overpow's Ziggs had 300 CS in 23 minutes and 59 seconds. He got to 400 CS in 33 minutes and 26 seconds, and 500 CS in 42 minutes and 12 seconds. And he ended the long 47-minute game with 564 CS. Now that's a lot of minion kills. Now then, let's start by taking a look at the item and its gold value. Now, Spirit of the Spectral Wraith is the AP jungle item. It grants 50 ability power and 10% cooldown reduction for 2000 gold. Other than that, it has 3 passives. Spirit Drain will give you 2 ability power up to 15 times whenever you kill a large monster, so 30 ability power total. Butcher grants extra damage to jungle monsters and gives health and mana restoration when you kill them. And the last one is Conservation, which gives you stacks of gold that are consumed when you kill a jungle monster. The maximum extra gold you can get from one large monster is 40 gold. Now then, is the item cost efficient, math-wise? So 50 ability power is worth about 1000 gold, and 10% CDR is worth about 323.7 gold. So this means that the base stats on the item are only worth 1323 gold approximately. So that's only 66% of the gold cost of the item. So that makes the item very cost inefficient. But wait, what about the 30 extra AP? Now, assuming that you got the extra 30 AP from getting the jungle camps, the item will be worth 1923.7 gold, which is still not cost efficient, but it's pretty close. But still, why was Overpow building it? Okay, so the problem of having a mathematical approach, which you see on my other videos where I analyzed items like Crystalline Flask and others, is that it's not a completely accurate analysis. I completely ignore the 2 passives here. I ignored Butcher and I ignored Conservation. So Butcher means he'll get some mana and HP back when he does the jungle camps. And now taking into account Conservation stacks, Overpow did farm quite a lot of camps in the jungle, so he obviously got enough gold to cover for the 2000 gold value of the item. How much did he farm though? I actually counted the amount of camps he killed, and he cleared 36 camps while he had Spirit of the Spectral Wraith on his inventory. He may have done some before or after, but we want to focus on Conservation stacks. So in total, he farmed the Wraith's camp 11 times, the Wolf's camp 14 times, the Blue camp 6 times, including 2 enemy blues, and the White camp 4 times, and he killed the dragon once. Yeah, he actually killed the dragon once. So assuming he had 40 stacks every time he got a camp done, he'd get 1440 extra gold from camps. Unfortunately, I do not have a way of seeing how many stacks he had every time he cleared a camp, but it's also safe to say that he didn't always have 40 stacks, because there were times where he'd go from Wraiths to Wolves to White, and that's 3 camps in a row, and even if you had 80 Conservation stacks when you started, you wouldn't get 40 from all 3 of them. So, however, even if we were to average 20 stacks per camp, which is probably an underestimate, he would still have 720 extra gold. Now, adding this value, 720, with the gold value I did for the item's base stats, this puts the item at approximately 2643 gold, which means that Overpow used the item well enough to justify the purchase in order to get the extra gold. The last thing I want to mention is cooldown reduction. Again, mathematical analysis only does so much. 10% is worth 323.7 gold, but it's one of those invaluable stats on some champions. Ziggs has 3 long cooldowns, so his overall DPS and utility in fights really goes up with that CDR. In fact, the more CDR you have, the more damage you'll be able to output. You still obviously need other stats like magic penetration and ability power, but CDR is an important factor on some champions. So let's take a look at a CDR table for Ziggs. Now, Overpow got the Spirit of the Spectral Ray first, giving him 10%. I'm also assuming he has the Sorcery Mastery from the offense tree, so he has the extra 5%. So he's on 15%. After this, he got an Athene's, boosting his CDR up to 35%, and furthermore, he almost always had a blue buff, capping him at 40%. He could also have bought a blue potion and get the 40% there as well. So, as you can see, especially on the other 3 skills that aren't his main damage skill, the downtime really goes down a lot. This allows Ziggs to be that siege monster that we all know he is. To give examples, his Hexplosive Minefields become permanent, assuming they last for their normal duration. They last for 10 seconds, and at 40%, Overpow can place them every 9.6 seconds. His ultimate is also on a really short cooldown, lower than 60 seconds. So CDR is a very strong tool on Ziggs and allows him to become one of, if not the best sieging champion. So ultimately, what was the Spectral Wraith purchase for? Number 1, it gave him more utility mid-game with a 33% cooldown reduction at worst, assuming no blue buff, and this gave him a lot of siege potential and strong poke and harass. 2, the added monster damage let him farm the jungle, and alongside the extra gold, it still allowed him to reach a full build pretty fast. He sold Spectral Wraith later for Realized Crystal Scepter, but considering he got back 800 gold from selling, and he probably got something like 1000 gold from conservation stacks, it was still a worthy purchase. Other champions that are capable of doing this on mid lane, in my opinion, would be heavy farmers that can wave clear very fast and go back into the jungle. So prime examples would be probably someone like Morgana, Gragas, and Karthus. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of the Analysis Corner. For my next episode, I haven't quite decided. You guys all ask for Diamond Proxy's Evelyn, but I do want to see him play a bit more before I do it. He has many different approaches every game, and I want to try to figure out a pattern before I actually comment on it. That's all for today. I'll see you guys in the Rift. Chakra signing out.